Okay, here we are for what I think might be the last round. Just to give you a bit of an update, Deadline started with 80 hit points and is down to 22. However, he did manage to kill one of our heroes, Ra, and that really hurt in terms of my strategy because Ra was about to put a big hurt on him, but he got to him first. So he really tipped the scales here by taking out Ra. Wraith is the only other hero I have left playing this two-character variant, this two-hero variant. She has 8 hit points, but it's the start of the villain turn, and so she has to survive these 8 points, and I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Let's have a look and see. So it's the start of the villain turn. Deadline's card says at the start, where is it? At the start of the villain turn, if there are no catastrophe cards in play, flip Deadline's villain character cards. And there are no cards in play. That's actually an environment card, and this is a device. So let's flip. So he's back to the Radical Peacemonger. And then the gameplay from here basically says it's an end of turn effect, so nothing's going to happen right now. What that means is that Deadline needs to play a card. So let's flip this card. And it's an ongoing catastrophe called the Unleashed Hurricane, which will have an effect at the start of his next turn. So right now, it doesn't do anything. So he plays a card, and now it's the end of the villain turn. At the end of the villain turn, if there are 3 or more catastrophe cards in play, flip the character card for the villain, but there's only one. Otherwise, play the top card of the villain deck. It's the same catastrophe, so we have 2 Unleashed Hurricanes, which have start of turn effects. There's nothing else to do there. However, at the end of the turn, this card deals the hero target with the lowest, which is her, 2 infernal damage. Now, because of this equipment that she used, that's going to be reduced to 1. Okay, so she goes from 8 to 7. Okay. If that target is a hero character card, that hero's player must either discard a card or shuffle their trash into their deck. I don't have a discard pile anymore, so I can't do that. So I will discard one of my combat stances. Okay. So that's it for the villain turn, hero turn. Ra, who is seriously beaten up and angry, so one hero may use a power now, or we can put an environment card in play on the bottom of the environment deck, which is tempting. Or we can destroy an ongoing card. Oh boy. I'm going to put an environment card in play on the bottom of the deck so that this guy becomes a target again. Okay, so let's remove the distortion. That goes to the bottom of the environment deck. And that's it for Ra's turn. Wraith gets to play. So she can play a card. I'm going to put out another equipment card, I think, which is called Infrared Eyepiece. Now she gets to use 2 powers because of her utility belt. So the first power she's going to use is Razor Ordnance. So she deals 1 target 3 projectile damage, which means 19 to Deadline. And her second power, I think, so this has to come off now, the stun bolt. I think her second power will be to use her stealth. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should cross my fingers and hope that I can just do enough damage to kill Deadline. Okay, so I'm going to use the same power again. So Wraith deals one target, one projectile damage, and until the start of her next turn, reduce all damage dealt by that target by 1. Well, it's going to be Deadline, and Deadline doesn't really deal damage, but we're going to try it. So that brings Deadline down to 18. Okay, so she's used 2 powers. So I wish she could do more damage, but she can't. So she draws a card, her turn is over, and now we go to the sidekick deck. One hero may use a power now. Select a hero, increase the next damage dealt by that hero by 2, or destroy a target with 1 HP. Well, okay, if I'm being consistent and I wanted to use a power, it means I couldn't use Razor Ordnance again, because earlier in the game I said I couldn't. So what I'll do is increase the next damage dealt by her by 2. That's what I'm going to do. So as a reminder, I'm going to take this die, I'm going to put it way over here, and increase that damage by 2. And I'm also going to put my reminder tokens on here so that we'll remember to use it if she survives the next couple of moves. Alright, the environment gets to go. It's the Portal Fiend, which says at the start of the environment turn, which we're past now, this is into the play a card, so the Portal Fiend goes there, and there's nothing else for the Portal Fiend to do. And now we're into the villain turn, who gets to play Unleashed Hurricane 2 times. At the start of the villain turn, H-2, which is 1, one player must put 1 card from their hand on top of their deck. Okay, so I have to do that twice. So I will put this card on top, and I will put this card on top. Then Deadline deals the 1 non-villain target with the highest HP 1 cold damage. So Deadline deals her 1 cold damage, but because of the stun bolt, reduce all damage dealt by that target by 1. Hey, so that means that's reduced by 1, and that's reduced by 1. So no damage from Deadline. Ooh, I chose well there. That was lucky. Okay. So that was the start of turn. Now the villain plays a card. It's a relic. The first time an environment target enters play each turn, play the top card of the villain deck. Okay? Nothing to do there. And now we're at the end of the turn. If there are 3 or more catastrophe cards in play, no. So we flip this card. Now there are 3 or more catastrophe cards in play. So we have to go through this, which is discard. We have to flip these cards. Because we're at the end. Destroy all environment cards. And shuffle that into the environment deck. Destroy all the catastrophe cards, and there are 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. Deadline deals each non-villain target 3 irreducible fire damage. So that's 3 irreducible fire damage. But this, so reduce, oh, it's irreducible. Okay, so that brings Wraith down to 4. And remove the top 3 cards of the environment deck from the game. 1, 2, 3. And that's it. Okay. Except for this. So the first time an environment target enters play, that didn't happen, but the Ataxia Sphere takes effect. So at the end of the villain turn, this card deals the hero target with the lowest HP, which is her, 2 infernal damage. So she's down to 2 life. And I can shuffle Combat Stance back into my trash. Okay, that felt a bit lengthy, so I'm going to stop it there. I expected her to die, but she didn't. She's going to get a turn or two in here between, well, she's going to get a turn. Let's just see what we can do here, and we'll take it up in the next video.